man, I really do believe planes are built uncomfortably, right?
Yeah.
You got to fit as many people as you can on that thing and make some money. So we're all a little bit on the cramped side to begin with, and there can be very uncomfortable situations. So we'll address one of them in just 1 second. But let me ask you this question, because this is a meme that Kristen passed on to me this morning.
Courtesy of my husband, Bart.
What would you least rather sit next to on a flight?
Least being the operative word there.
All right. You got the clapper.
When
Plane
you,
lands.
Oh, when you land? Aw, that guy. He's probably a hoot and a half, you know? Like, he's probably fun.
He says golly a lot.
Yeah.
Babies, pets, the groomer, like somebody cutting their nails.
No.
That's the thing?
Yes. You've never seen that?
No, I haven't.
I've seen some people like try to apply nail polish and stuff on the plane.
Yeah.
Flight attendant has to come by and go, what are
Are
you
you
doing?
serious?
I've hit my
hit.
call button and been like, this person next to me is a terrorist. I would like you to do something about it.
I've been hit by an errant, like, clipping
Ooh,
No,
before.
not a nail.
Oh,
A
And I
toe?
had-
Toe or hand?
hand, and I had to
Okay.
do one of these flick right off my knee.
No.
It was so gross.
That is disgusting.
that is a fight.
Yeah.
Contagious. This one says so somebody that's coughing a lot around you. Coughing, right?
Ooh.
The snorer sitting right next to you. You got the drunk. You got the shoes off person.
Oh, no.
Now you can
There
put
should
those
be a
people.
law now.
You can put those people into two categories. The people that take their shoes off are the ones that take them off and then put their shoes on, like the seat in front of them. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Respect the bulkhead,
On the
people.
armrest in front of you.
I have a logistical question.
Yeah.
If the socks are still on, does it still count? It's a foot out of a shoe, in my opinion. But my husband says if he's not barefoot, it's not offensive. And I'm like, I smell you. It's offensive.
I'm cool with the sock.
The sock's fine.
I'm cool with
Oh,
the
I-
sock.
Sock is all right.
As long as
Boys
there's
like this.
coverage. As
Yeah.
long as there's
Right.
coverage and I
Right.
don't
Okay.
see the toes,
Kristen,
I'm okay.
cool.
I thought you'd have my back.
Sorry.
This is a battle of the sexes, and you're turning on me.
It's because I've done sock feet on planes before.
I have to. On the ground, though, not on the person in front of you.
Yes,
Right.
you can't
Okay.
touch anybody.
The chatterer, somebody that just wants to talk the entire flight. You have to like just pretend you have narcolepsy.
Yep, don't talk to me.
I just
Even when I go places with friends, I book a different seat than them because I don't want to
Really?
talk to
Me
anybody.
neither. The reclining person.
Yeah.
For you, that's a problem. You're
If they're
way
in front
taller
of me,
than I am.
yeah, if they're in front of me, it's tough for me. But what can I do? I can't force them to not recline.
Toddlers or the person that brings fast food onto the plane, which is the worst of all of those. Who would you least rather sit next to on a flight?
Go ahead.
I would say chatty first, second the cougher.
Really?
Because I just get, if I am near someone that has the sniffles, I will get sick every time.
I've been traumatized by a few of these, but the one that has like deeply scarred us is the drunk.
The drunk.
Really?
Yes. This woman was just miserable. That's the one who called my husband an a-hole.
But
How did
that's
she
funny.
know him so well?
How long was that flight?
They've been sitting together for a while.
Was she family?
Mo, which one here would you least rather sit next to on a plane?
I'm going with the cougher because I feel like that's the one that you can't really, like the other ones you could deal with some headphones typically. If you put some really big headphones on, you can deal with the drunk person and the chatty person, but it's not much you could do with somebody just coughing on you.
That's just going to ruin your whole 2 weeks. You know, like with the clipping of the nails, I could at least get an Instagram video out of that or a bit out of that at some point. But the cougher, there's nothing I could do about your germs.
I have two kids, and I'd say babies, man. I
Babies
gotta
or
be honest
toddlers,
with
because those
you.
are two different things.
Toddlers, mostly you can calm down. Babies, you can't. I mean, if they're not, if they got the ear thing going on and they're yelling and screaming, there's nothing you can do about that. You're stuck, man.
I just put my headphones on. I'm going right to sleep. That's your baby.
All right, Bria found herself, our intern Bria here, found herself on a flight in a very uncomfortable situation. And how do you make it comfortable for everybody around you? This one's tough.
Yeah. I was on my way back to Atlanta from DC because I was visiting my family, and
So we're talking about a 2-hour flight, 2.5-hour flight.
hour and a half
Hour and a half,
flight,
okay.
not too long, and I got the window seat because I was in the A group.
Fancy pants.
So then these two couples came and sat beside me, and they asked me, can I sit beside you? So I was like, sure. And so I thought her husband was going to sit in the middle because she was a little bit heavier. So but that didn't happen. So she ended up sitting beside me. So I was like, okay, well, and I was already on the window pretty much when she sat beside me. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do? Because I don't want to be rude and say something. So before we were about to pull off, I asked her and I was like, hey, I don't want to be rude or anything, but I was like, can you and your husband switch seats? Because I feel a little uncomfortable. Because at this point, she was pretty much in my seat and her seat.
Right.
So I didn't want to say that to her. I just said I felt a little uncomfortable. And she looked at me and she got mad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'll never say nothing.
I mean, I would, if someone was like, could you move and let your husband sit next to me? Like, I wouldn't take that well either.
I've been on 2,500 flights, right? And I feel like this has happened to me 1,000 times, right? And I have never said a word. I just suck it up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just curl up in my, because I think the person probably is nervous, to be honest with you, about going on the flight anyway. They're aware of their size. They're aware that it's going to be uncomfortable, and there's nothing they can do about it, really, right? I mean, to argue the other side, this is your flight also.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to handle that situation and diffuse it. I don't know. If you've been the person that has had that said to you, what do you do? 1-855-BERT Show.
Did she switch seats?
No, she told me I need to switch seats.
So you were there first.
Yeah, I was there first, but I just was like, I wasn't going to argue back and forth with her because I was just like, whatever. But I really wanted to go to sleep because I was tired. And I knew after I get off this flight, I had to go straight to work. So I was like, I really wanted a nap.
And there was no way. She was so much in your seat.
I was literally sitting like this.
I'm like, for an hour and a half flight, I don't have the guts to say anything. I would just suck it up, to be honest with you.
I've been on 4-hour flights, and I've literally just sat there uncomfortable the entire time because I didn't want to make the other person uncomfortable.
Right. 1-855-BERT Show.
You did absolutely nothing wrong in asking her to switch. It sounds like you handled it really politely. It is your flight, too. Yeah. And I can guarantee she was probably like, I'm larger and I definitely feel it on planes. And I usually take the window seat so I can smash myself against the side of the plane and try and like hunch over as much as possible. She probably didn't sit in the aisle because she's going to get hit by the cart every single time it comes by. But that doesn't mean you can't ask to switch, and she should be smashing up against her husband instead. It sucks. Planes need to change the size of their seats. Like, it's not her fault. It's not your fault. It's the plane's fault. It needs to be more accommodating. But that said, I think you handled it really well, and I think you should say something. It is your seat. You just have to do it politely, and I think it's nice that you didn't point out that she was spilling over into your seat either. So you didn't make it about her being large. Yeah. You just made it about you, which I think that's good.
What were the exact words you used?
I just said, could you and your husband switch seats because I felt a little uncomfortable.
Okay, and she interpreted that, right? Okay. What she heard was, okay, fatty, can you move?
Oh.
But that's
She
her.
did,
Yeah,
right?
but that's on her. Like, that's her own baggage because you didn't say that. Yeah. So that's her interpreting what you said. And
something happened after we all got off the plane.
She farted on you?
Bert.
Once we got off the plane, she said your mother need to teach you manners. And I said something back a little wrong. I told her she needs to lose weight.
Oh.
No, Bria, no.
Okay. Oh, okay.
She did bring her mother into it,
She
though.
did.
She started it, man.
Well, this is taking an interesting turn.
She brought the family into it. That flight was less than 2 hours.
Let's take this in pieces. Cassie, has your opinion changed at all?
initially, I think you still did the right thing. After that, I don't know. No, you shouldn't have done the comeback with the weight, but you should have done a comeback because she was rude.
Yeah. It was just because I was already tired, and I was just like, well, what can I say back? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna run.
Oh my goodness.
What are her husband? I'm always curious what the husband is doing in this instance. So you and her are having words. What is old dude doing?
He was quiet the whole time, just looking at us like.
He's got his earbuds
Mind your
in.
business.
He didn't hear anything, man. Good morning, Natalie. You say there's a person that we didn't cover on this list of the least you'd want to sit next to in a plane.
Yes. So the last flight I took, a lady had her cat with her on board right next to me, which was fine. The cat was well behaved. But it kind of went south when she opened up a can of cat food. To me, it was awful.
Wet or dry?
No, wet cat
wet.
food.
Wet
Wet.
food.
Yeah.
The worst.
So we did cover pets, right? And we did cover fast food, but we didn't cover pet food. She's right. That's a tough one.
Brandy, good morning. You're on the Bert Show. You've been in this situation before, not the cat part, the being uncomfortable on the plane part.
Right. I am also a bigger person, and you were right what you said earlier. Whenever, you go to get on that plane, you already know that you're overweight. It's very nerve-wracking. I personally just go ahead. I don't fly very often because of that. But I personally go ahead and buy 2 plane tickets or 2 seats.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, there are some that can't afford that, but man, I understand the stress of when as soon as you get on the plane, you see the eyes looking at you and judging you like, oh no, probably as you're walking down the aisle, right?
Right, and I think that she did approach it though, as poetically as she could.
Yeah.
And it's a situation that's difficult for everybody.
Yeah, your initial takeoff was good. Your landing, though, was really super, super rough.
The Bert Show.